My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state. Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people.
It's the presumptive Republican nominee for President Donald Trump laying out part of his abortion policy with the main takeaway: let the states and the voters decide. Now, he did go on to say he's like President Reagan, strongly in favor of exceptions, like in the case of rape, incest, or considering the health of the mother.
But Trump's announcement is drawing the ire of his former vice president, Mike Pence, saying, quote, President Trump's retreat on the right to life is a slap in the face to the millions of pro-life Americans who voted for him in 2016 and 2020. Too many Republican politicians are all too ready to wash their hands of the battle for life. Karoline Leavitt is the Trump 2024 National Press Secretary. She joins us now. The former vice president really going on offense here against his former boss, calling it a slap in the face to the pro-life movement. What say you?
With all due respect to Mike Pence, he did not receive more than 1% of polling in the Republican presidential primary. So I won't waste more than 1 minute of my time talking about his comments. Clearly, voters don't care. President Trump's statement on abortion was impactful, it was powerful, and it resonates with the majority of Americans, not just Republican voters, but all Americans who want to see this issue resonated and resolved at the state level. And that's what President Trump supports, returning the power back to we the people, so that those closest to us and our state legislatures can make decisions on this issue. And President Trump was also right to call out that the Democrats are the radicals on this issue. Joe Biden and the Democrat Party support aborting an unborn child up until the moment of birth. More than 80% of Americans disagree with that position. And so I'd like to see Mike Pence and the mainstream media and all of the people who have a lot of criticism for President Trump talk about Joe Biden's out-of-touch stance on this issue.
Well, it's interesting because you see media reporters always try to ask Republicans, okay, how many weeks? 6 weeks, 15 weeks, so on and so forth. But you don't see it as often when it comes to Democratic politicians. How many months is it acceptable? So your point's taken there, and we'll see if reporters will ask those questions of President Biden. It's an important one. The Biden campaign, however, capitalizing on Trump's announcement yesterday, they put out an ad in response to this policy, introducing us to a woman who says she experienced sepsis after a miscarriage because she was denied an abortion. So again, a specific story here might tug on the heartstrings, but ultimately criticizing Republican approaches to abortion access. You know, we've seen in 2022 that abortion was a key motivator for voters coming out to the polls in various swing states even. Does Trump fear that this could be a similar challenge as we head towards the 2024 election?
No, because the president has now made the decision very clear that he supports the rights of states to implement measures. And look, Alabama is going to look a lot different than California, but that's the beauty of federalism, and President Trump supports that. While again, Joe Biden and his administration support implementing a federal law that would protect abortion for children in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month. And that's an extremely radical position to take. And so President Trump aligns with the majority of Americans on this. And as we look to the 2024 election this November, voters are not thinking about this. They are thinking about immigration and inflation. Those continue to be the number 1 and 2 issues on voters' minds because they are having a real impact on their lives every single day. And President Trump is leading Joe Biden on both of those issues because he delivered on them in his first term. And Joe Biden's economic policies and his open border policies have been a disaster for all Americans in every state across this country.
That is Karoline Leavitt joining us with that and that response with Trump's latest video on his stance on abortion. Karoline, thanks so much.
Thank you guys, as always.